This is problem number 3 for assessment number 7. In this problem it says solve the inequality, and it gives you 18x squared minus 3x less than 1. This is a quadratic inequality. So if I have a quadratic inequality, my first step is to get it so that there we have 0 on one side. Well, technically I could, for a quadratic inequality, the first step would be to switch this inequality sign to an equal sign. So let's do that first. So we're going to say 18x squared minus 3x equal 1. So we're going to solve for the roots, and once we find the roots, we're going to use the number line to determine where the solutions are. So we'll come back to this 18x squared minus 3x less than 1 at the end. Now I want to get it equal to 0, so I'm going to subtract 1 on each side, and I get 18x squared minus 3x minus 1 equals 0. Now I've told you before that we have criteria for picking which method we go with to solve quadratics, and the three methods are factoring, completing the square, and quadratic formula. First of all, is a 1? No, a is not 1, and I can't really divide by 18, so because a is not 1, I can't really divide it out. I'm not going to do factoring, and then that means I'm also not going to do completing the square, because that's one of our criteria, is a has to be 1 to do either of those methods. Just because it makes it so it's not necessarily as simple to do when you have a coefficient that is greater than 1. So let's start with the quadratic formula. We're going to say negative b plus and minus root b squared minus 4 ac all over 2a. And that's what the x values are going to equal. So that means x equals, in our case, we have negative 3 is b, so we have negative 3 plus and minus root, this will be negative 3 squared minus 4 times a, which is 18, times negative 1, which is c. And that's all going to be over 2 times 18. Let's go ahead and evaluate this. This will be 3 plus and minus root 9. This will give you positive, because negative times negative, this will be a positive number. And 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 18, that's 72. So plus 72. All over 2 times 18, which is 36. And we get x equals 3 plus and minus. This will be 81, and the root of 81 is 9 over 36. So that means x equals 3 plus 9 over 36, or x equals 3 minus 9 over 36, which means x equals 12 over 36, which means that that is 1/3. Or x equals, that'd be negative 6 over 36, which is negative 1/6. Okay, we found our two roots. I'm just going to kind of circle these so we know that these are the two roots. These are not the solutions yet. We need to draw the number line, and that's where we're coming back to this inequality here. We're going to write the roots here, negative 1/6 and 1/3. Now between negative 6 and 1/3, we know that there's a 0, so we're going to pick 0 up here. To the right of 1/3, that's 1. To the left of negative 1/6 is negative 1. It kind of makes the problem pretty easy when there are fractions between negative 1 and 0 and 1 and 0. So we can plug negative 1 in to this inequality and check to see does it work. So we're going to say 18 times negative 1 squared minus 3 times negative 1 less than 1. Is this true? Well, this gives you 18, because this will be positive, plus 3 less than 1. Is 18 plus 3 less than 1? No. Those don't work. Now we plug in 0. So 18 times 0 squared minus 3 times 0 less than 1. Well, that's going to give you 0. That's going to give you 0. 0 less than 1? Yep. Solutions here. And then finally we plug in 1. So we do 18, 1 squared minus 3 times 1 less than 1. Well, that's going to give you 18 minus 3, which is 15. Is 15 less than 1? Nope. And because this is not an equal sign, that means that our solutions just run from negative 1/6 to 1/3. And that's the solutions to the quadratic inequality. Now, if they ask you to write it in compound inequality form, this is interval notation, remember? Compound inequality form would be negative 1/6 less than or equal to, well, not less than or equal to, let's do that again. Negative 1/6 less than x less than 1/3. All right, just a different way to write interval notation.